Before you decide what you think of me, hear me out for a moment. What I'm about to say isn't something I've shared with anyone. Not in public, not with friends, not even during those sleepless nights when the house is silent and my thoughts are loud enough to fill every room. I've carried these words for years, and tonight I'm finally letting them go. This is for the woman I haven't met yet, the woman who will someday walk beside me through all of life's uncertainty. Not following me, not leading me, just standing shoulder to shoulder with me. And if she ever hears this, she'll understand. She'll know these words were always waiting for her. So wherever you are right now, pause for a second, because this may be the most honest thing I've ever said. People often assume they know someone based on what they accomplish. They see achievements, they see success, they see the highlights everyone else talks about. What they don't see are the quiet moments afterward. They don't see the long nights spent questioning decisions. They don't see the exhaustion hidden behind a smile. They don't see the person sitting alone in a room, wondering whether any of it was worth the cost. Success has a strange way of creating illusions. From the outside, it can look like confidence, certainty, and control. From the inside, it often feels very different, because no matter how much you've achieved, no matter how many goals you've reached, there are still moments when you wish someone would simply sit next to you and remind you that you don't have to earn your worth, that you're enough just as you are. That's the part of life nobody celebrates. That's the chapter that rarely gets shared. And for a long time, I kept that chapter hidden. I've spent most of my life solving problems. Give me a challenge and I'll stay up all night until I figure it out. Give me a puzzle and I'll obsess over every detail until it makes sense. I've always believed that with enough effort, almost anything can be fixed. Almost. Because there was one thing I never quite understood: love. For years, I thought I did. I thought commitment was enough. I thought good intentions were enough. I thought providing, protecting, and working hard automatically translated into being a great partner. I was wrong. And admitting that isn't easy, but it's true. I've loved before, I've made promises before, I've imagined forever before. And when those relationships ended, they left marks I still carry. Heartbreak isn't a single event. It's not one bad day. It's thousands of little moments afterward. It's waking up and remembering someone isn't there anymore. It's hearing a song that suddenly transports you back to a different version of your life. It's coming home and realizing that even a beautiful house can feel empty when the right person isn't inside it. Loneliness isn't measured by how many people surround you. Sometimes loneliness shows up in crowded rooms. Sometimes it sits beside you during celebrations. Sometimes it follows you through success and whispers, "Is this really all you wanted?" I've made mistakes, more than I'd like to admit. There were times I gave my attention to work when I should have given it to someone I loved. There were moments I chased deadlines while relationships quietly slipped through my fingers. I postponed conversations, cancelled plans, and missed opportunities to simply be present. Not because I didn't care. The truth is, I cared deeply, but I convinced myself there would always be more time. And life has a painful way of teaching you that more time is never guaranteed. Looking back now, I've realized something important. Love isn't built in grand moments. It's built in ordinary ones. It's built in the random Tuesday evenings when both of you are tired but still ask each other how the day went. It's built in long conversations after midnight when sleep refuses to come. It's built in choosing each other over and over again, especially when life becomes complicated. Real love isn't found in dramatic gestures. It's found in consistency. It's found in showing up. And I understand that now in a way I never did before. So if you're out there somewhere, the woman who will someday become my wife, there are things I want you to know. First, I am not searching for perfection. I've spent enough time chasing impossible standards to know how empty perfection really is. Perfect people don't exist. Perfect relationships don't exist. And honestly, I don't want them to. I don't want someone flawless. I want someone real, someone who laughs too loudly sometimes, someone who has strong opinions, someone who can challenge me, someone who can tell me when I'm wrong. someone who doesn't shrink herself to make me comfortable. I want someone who brings her own dreams into the relationship, her own passions, her own voice, because the most beautiful partnerships aren't built on admiration alone. They're built on mutual respect. I want to know the real you, not the version you show the world, not the version you think I want. The real you, the messy parts, the uncertain parts, the imperfect parts, all of it. And I hope you'll want to know the real me too. Not the accomplishments, not the image, not the reputation. Just me, the person who still gets nervous before important moments. The person who sometimes overthinks everything. The person who occasionally needs reassurance even though he pretends he doesn't. The person who wants a meaningful life far more than an impressive one. Because beneath every title and every achievement, that's who I really am. A human being trying to figure things out just like everyone else. And when we find each other, I want things to be different. I've learned lessons I couldn't have learned any other way. Some came through failure, some came through regret, some came through losing things I thought would always be there. Pain has a way of teaching truths that comfort never can. So here's what I promise. I promise I will make time. Not because life will suddenly become less busy, it won't. There will always be responsibilities, always another problem to solve, always another goal waiting in the distance. But I've learned that the people you love cannot spend their lives waiting at the finish line. They need you along the journey, and I want to be there, fully there. I promise to listen, not the kind of listening where you're already preparing your next response. Real listening, the kind that says, what you're feeling matters to me, the kind that requires attention, presence, and patience. I want to know your dreams, your fears, your childhood stories, the things that make you laugh until your stomach hurts, and the things you rarely tell anyone, because intimacy isn't built through proximity, it's built through understanding. I promise to be present mentally, emotionally, and physically. I've learned that presence may be the most valuable gift one person can give another. You can buy gifts, you can plan vacations, you can create memories, but nothing replaces being fully present with someone you love. Nothing. I promise to make room for joy. Life is hard enough already. We'll face challenges, we'll make mistakes, we'll have difficult days, but I want laughter to live in our home. I want inside jokes nobody else understands. I want spontaneous dancing in the kitchen. I want ridiculous conversations that make no sense to anyone but us. I want the kind of moments that seem small while they're happening and become priceless years later. I promise to protect our peace. The world is exhausting. Every day brings noise, pressure, expectations, and conflict. I want home to feel different. I want it to feel safe. I want it to be the place where neither of us has to pretend, the place where we can exhale, the place where we can simply be ourselves. And most importantly, I promise to love you when it's difficult, because that's when love matters most. Anyone can stay when everything is easy. Anyone can be affectionate when life is going well. The true test comes during the storms, the unexpected losses, the disappointments, and the moments when one of us feels broken. That's when love reveals itself, not through words, but through actions, loyalty, and the decision to stay. One thing still amazes me. For most of my life, I've believed that nearly everything could be understood, analyzed, predicted, and planned. But love refuses to follow those rules. You can't schedule it, you can't force it, you can't calculate the exact moment it arrives, and maybe that's what makes it so extraordinary. Love doesn't care about status, it doesn't care about money, it doesn't care about accomplishments or credentials. It only asks one question: can you be seen for who you truly are, and can you do the same for someone else? That's it. That's the miracle. To be fully known and fully loved anyway. If you've ever felt alone while listening to this, I want to speak directly to you for a moment. Maybe you've convinced yourself it's too late. Maybe you've been hurt. Maybe you've experienced disappointment so many times that hope feels dangerous. Maybe you've started believing you're too broken to be loved. You're not. No matter what your past looks like, no matter how many mistakes you've made, no matter how many times you've had your heart broken, your story isn't over, and neither is mine. I've learned that the right people often arrive when we're no longer trying to become someone else. They arrive when we've done the hard work of healing, when we've stopped performing, and when we've finally become ourselves. That's when life surprises us. And often the greatest surprises are the ones we never planned. For years I thought love was something that had to fit around my life. Now I understand something completely different. Love is life. Everything else is secondary. The goals, the ambitions, the achievements, the recognition, all of it becomes incomplete if there's nobody to share it with. A victory feels different when someone celebrates beside you. A challenge feels lighter when someone faces it with you. A future feels brighter when someone is building it alongside you. So the real surprise isn't a gift. It's not a grand gesture. It's not something wrapped in a box. The surprise is who I've become. The person who once thought success alone would bring fulfillment no longer believes that. The person who once treated love like a distraction no longer sees it that way. I've changed. Life changed me. Loss changed me. Experience changed me. And for the first time, I truly understand what matters. So to the woman who may hear these words one day, here's what I want you to know. I won't be perfect. I'll still have flaws. I'll still make mistakes. I'll still have days when I don't get everything right. But I'll show up. I'll try. I'll grow. And I'll love you with everything I have, not only in the exciting moments, not only in the easy seasons, but in the ordinary days too, because that's where life actually happens, in the mornings, in the conversations, in the routines, in the quiet moments nobody posts online. That's where real love lives. And if you're listening to this wondering whether a love like that still exists, I believe it does. I have to believe it does, because despite everything I've been through, I still believe the best parts of life aren't behind us. They're ahead of us, waiting. So wherever you are tonight, know this. Someone is out there hoping to meet you too. Someone is growing, learning, healing, and preparing for a future they can't see yet. Maybe that's how all great stories begin, not with certainty, not with answers, but with hope. And at the end of this wild, unpredictable life, I don't want to be remembered for what I accomplished. I want to be remembered for how deeply I loved, for the people I showed up for the promises I kept, and for the heart I was willing to risk. Because the greatest adventure isn't found in distant horizons. It isn't hidden in achievement. It isn't waiting somewhere beyond reach. It's found in sharing a life with someone who truly sees you. That's my truth. No masks, no performance, no walls, just my heart, exactly as it is. And for the first time in a very long time, that doesn't scare me anymore. So thank you for listening. And if somehow these words reach the person they were meant for, then know this. The most beautiful chapter of our story hasn't been written yet, and I can't wait to begin.